Here's some basic things that you can do to improve your relationship. The things you should be looking for are there ways that you relate to your partner that are very routinized? Having set routines. Is there one person who usually makes all the choices about where you're going to go or what you're going to do? And one thing you can do is just reverse that. The person who doesn't usually make the choices, they have to choose for a week. And see how that feels for both of you. It will shake both of you up. These are all suggestions, by the way, that'll make you feel anxious, that may stir up feelings in you, but that will really bring more life back into the relationship. So to notice ways that you've become routine in your relating, ways that you've started to take each other for granted. Really noticing your partner and not just expecting that they're always supposed to be there when you get home or always supposed to have dinner on the table or always supposed to be doing whatever, but to really notice them and be thankful and express your appreciation for the things that they do. Really the focus in working on your relationship has to be on changing yourself. You have very little, you have zero power to change the other person. But often people come into therapy and they want you to change their partner who isn't even there. But what really you can do to have a lot of power in your relationship is to change yourself. You can look at the interactions, the negative interactions that you get into with your partner and think about what do you do that helps your partner to act in ways you don't like. How do you invite that behavior? So if you hate when your partner tells you what to do, look at what do you do just before that happens. Do you ask a question? Do you put out your problems? And maybe you just want to talk about them, but in a way you're inviting your partner to give you answers or tell you what to do. So looking at breaking down your half of the dynamic. And the whole relationship will have to shift. If one person in the relationship acts childish and the other person acts parental, if you change your part, whichever part it is, the other person will have to shift. So it'll often make things a lot better just to change your part of it. And lastly, it's really important to set goals for your relationship. How do you want your relationship to be? And to really just even write it down. You know, we make a 10-year plan for our career lives, but we never do it in terms of our relationship. How do we want it to be? So what are our goals? Do we want to be closer emotionally? Do we want to improve certain areas that are difficult between us in terms of communication, how we deal with finances, or whatever it might be that are the hard areas between us? And what are the behaviors that would get us there? What would it look like? What would be the steps that we could do to change how we're acting that would reach that goal? And then you can really look at, because then if you have a reaction to something during the week with your partner and you feel like retreating, but your goal was to be closer to them, you can look at that behavior and say, does that behavior really fit with my goal or not? And maybe at least be open to the other person so that it might go in a better direction. So I think setting goals is really important in our relationships.